Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Budgeting for Future. Today we are doing our Tuesday transfer video and a little bit of a different setup. I thought I would show you guys since in some of my videos recently I was talking about buying furniture, that I would actually show you the backboard, the headboard that I got for our bed. So it is in view today, shaking it up a little bit. Let me know if you like it. Or if you don't, or if you super don't care, but I thought it would be a little fun to sit in bed and chat with you guys. Overall, this past week, we made some little money moves here and there, mostly just what we could. I will say that in terms of like budgeting right now, we're very much in flux. Today's Tuesday, obviously, and on Friday, we will be paid at our new salaries. So my husband just got his merit increase as of Friday coming up here. And then also I will be getting my new pay for my new job. So it's changing quite a bit. I think overall we're going up about $9,000 as the annual amount more that we'll have to work with, which is really exciting. But we're definitely trying to figure out exactly what that means for us. I don't know if you could say we're like experiencing like lifestyle creep, but at the very least, we're kind of like, oh, well, things are going to change soon anyways. And we're definitely like doing everything on autopilot. So I've noticed we're definitely spending more at the grocery store, and we're spending more than we would really like to on going out to eat, which are typically our two main like touch points or pain points that we definitely need to work on in our budget. So we don't have as much money that we're like able to actually be strategically saving or paying off debt with. We also, within the past few months, did pay off our car loan. So because we don't have really any major debts that we're working on, we're kind of definitely like relaxing a little bit more and like not trying to restrict as much. So again, there's just not as much money that we're working with. But that being said, I thought today might be a good day to kind of chat with you guys about where our totals on all of our sinking funds are. And then we have pretty much decided, and this also might be another lifestyle creep thing, but we've also decided that we're definitely going to go on a vacation this year. We kind of went back and forth on what we were going to do there, and I think we finally decided what we'll be doing. So I'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into the budgeting for our vacation. So the first money move that we made this week was to put $25 into our maintenance sinking fund, bringing that grand total up to $600 currently saved up there. We do think that we'll be able to get our oil changed this week. We do have some other repairs that we want to do to our car, but currently we're not really doing them. So we're hoping to at least get some quotes on it so that we have a good idea of where we're at in terms of saving for those. I'm hoping we have enough, but who really knows when it comes to car maintenance? I feel like they just come up with a number and you're expected to pay it. So as of right now, we have $600 saved up for that. We were able to put $25 away for clothing. We did recently use our clothing fund when we bought new shoes, so that'll bring our clothing sinking fund to $25 in total, and hopefully that will probably go towards the next time that we need to buy new shoes as a family. We decided to put away $25 for furniture, bringing up our furniture sinking fund to $246, which is honestly quite a bit of money at this point. In terms of furniture pieces we're still looking for, we definitely are still looking for something to go into like our mudroom to put our shoes in, but we've kind of figured out a way to fix that need for right now. Right now we have a table really close to the entryway that has one of those like table curtains on them, or table covers. I can't think of the right name, but it does a good job of hiding things underneath the table. So we have little baskets underneath there that we put all of our shoes and outdoor gear in that we need. So that's been working pretty well for us for the time being. Other than that, I'm not really thinking we're interested in getting any other furniture pieces, so it'll be interesting to see. We might choose to start holding off on putting money towards furniture, or maybe dropping that number down to more like $10 or $15. If you have a furniture sinking fund, I would love to know how much money you put into it, because it's always like how much is the right amount. Any advice or tips or any of your experience, I would love to know what your thoughts are on that. And then in terms of vacation, we did put $25 away into our vacation sinking fund. That brings that sinking fund up to $130. Now, we've kind of been going back and forth for a few years now about whether or not we ever would be interested in doing a cruise. And because of how the cruise industry is obviously going not so great right now, we were thinking about, since we are becoming fully vaccinated in the next few weeks, we were thinking about maybe going on a cruise out in August, so like 4 months from now when they start doing cruises again. And we kind of started pricing it out. We started comparing a few different boats and things like that. And we kind of figured out that our ideal vacation on a cruise ship would probably cost somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000. And we were like, okay, that like sounds good. And we were thinking maybe our daughter would stay home and not go with us, and started kind of trying to figure out the logistics of doing something like that. And then we slept on it, which always is a good idea when you're making a big purchase, and something we always do. I swear we normally try and give ourselves like 72 hours to think about things, but definitely slept on it one night. And my husband goes, would I even like a cruise? Would I enjoy myself? Like, what are things people do on cruises that I would like to do? And myself, knowing him very well, I was like, yeah, he's not really like his ideal vacation isn't like lounging somewhere, you know, or like moseying or eating copious amounts of food. Like, none of these are really his ideal vacations. He loves going out and about. He loves going to museums, learning about history. He is a pretty big war buff, loves that stuff. And you can't really do those sorts of things on cruises. You can a little bit on some like shores and excursions that you can choose to do. But even then, honestly, there's typically not a lot. Like when we went to Paris, we went to the Louvre and saw all the fine art, and I really liked that. But then we also went to the War Museum, and he really liked that. So those are kind of more of our ideal vacations. And because of that, we did decide that we are just probably going to go to a spot within our state here in the Midwest, and just kind of enjoy a little bit of a slower week. We found a place that has like some like, I think it's Revolutionary War, or maybe the War of 1812, but it's a fort, and there'll be some history stuff and some things to look at, and it'll probably end up being a lot more fun for us, and also a lot closer to home. So I think that is what we have decided we're gonna do. But that being said, we are still trying to figure out exactly how much we want to save and actually spend on that vacation. I feel like it's probably still going to be a little expensive, probably somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000, I think would be our goal, because if we're going to do it, I definitely want to do it right. I don't want to do like a frugal trip. I don't want to like spend all the money to get somewhere and then be like, oh, well, like we can't like go do this one thing because it costs $20. So I definitely need to figure out how I want to go about budgeting for our vacation. And once I have figured that out, I will definitely share it with you guys, because I know that when we budgeted for our honeymoon, it was like a really hard decision and kind of confusing as to like how to decide what, especially when you're spending your own money. It definitely makes you really consider what you value. And yeah, so when I have more information, I will definitely share that. But if you have any tips in the meantime, I would love to hear from you guys because I'm definitely interested to know how you go about budgeting for your vacations. And then last but not least, we are still saving up for a down payment for a potential rental property, and we were able to put another $75 away this week for that. So definitely felt good to tuck that money away. In total, we now have $4,346 saved up in our down payment, as well as our savings challenge sinking fund that we are also saving up for a down payment. And if we were to buy a house right now today, we would have to purchase one for $21,730, not including the costs of closing. And needless to say, not probably that great of a house. I did find one that I thought we could take a peek at today. In terms of this property, it is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and it is 1,000 square feet. You can see from the outside here that it is painted wood, so definitely an older house and potentially in a historic area. I've found that to be quite common when there's painted houses, that it's in a historic district, but I'm not really sure because the town that I'm looking in that this house is from is not the town that we live in. But I do know that it will definitely be lead paint, which is super expensive. This house was built in the 1930s, and any house built before the 1970s is typically going to have lead paint. So you'll have to do lead paint remediation and then repaint from there. So just the cost of repainting this house alone would probably set you back hopefully only $20,000. And so that is definitely a pretty penny. There were some photos of the basement, some of the different appliances that it has, because it does have so few. It looks like it might be new stuff, but honestly, I'm really not sure. I'm definitely not an expert on that or really anything house related. After that, you go into some photos of the interior, and it definitely looks like it needs a lot of love. It has drop ceilings, and those drop ceilings are falling out. The floors probably need to be refinished, and there's just general debris throughout the house. There's also wood paneling on the walls, which I don't love, but that could probably be pretty easily just painted over to make it a little bit nicer looking in terms of trying to get a renter in. And then you get into the kitchen, and I don't even know what happened. There's a wood board up, which I'm going to assume is covering something that you're not wanting to see, but also should be seeing. And then you would definitely need a full gut job of this. There's no paint in the world that could save that. And then it looks like the floors have been pretty much been brought down to their base. So I think for sure you would need to probably put in some laminate or some vinyl flooring. So it actually turns out that this property is fully condemned, which I'm not sure exactly what that means based on the laws within that city. I know that sometimes when you say condemned, it just means that currently it is not habitable, but other times it means that you're not going to be able to bring the house to being habitable in the future. So they actually full on warn in the listing that you should do your due diligence before making an offer, which I find really interesting. Typically when you do your due diligence, it is once you put in an offer, you're given or you ask for somewhere between 7 and 14 days to do your due diligence, and that's when you're typically bringing in a home inspector to take a peek at the place and let you know any of the things that would need to be fixed. It's also the time where if you're doing a flip of a property, you would typically bring through contractors as well and have them do all the quotes for all the different parts of the project to make sure that you know exactly how much a renovation would most likely cost you. So the fact that they say that you should do that before writing an offer makes it sound like they either don't really know the general process typically, but also that they probably don't want people wasting their time, but typically you don't want to waste your time before going into contract on a property. And last but not least, they also tell you to call the city inspection department. So it must be in pretty bad nick to have you encouraged to call the city inspection department, because I bet you that the best thing you could do with this house is just tear it down and build something new. So this property is definitely not for us because I don't want to do any of that really hard work, and obviously doing that many renovations, like this is a complete gut job, if not just a full tear down. It would be just so much time and so much money on top of just getting a mortgage on the place. And honestly, it might not even be mortgageable because it is condemned. I'm not really sure fully what the rules are for that or how to get around that. But overall, I think you're buying a plot of land here, and I don't think we're interested currently in doing a full new build, but we've definitely thought about it. So that will really be all for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please consider giving this a like and also subscribe. If you're still here, you should definitely subscribe because 80% of the people watching this right now are not subscribed and they're silly. That's just science. So definitely subscribe, and yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.